John. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
It's good to speak to you. Today we're doing this new thing where we're doing an interview of our organizers for Urban Adventure Club.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
And you've been an organizer with us for almost 5 years, right?
hmm Yeah.
So you've been there pretty much since the beginning. So what? Let's start with some basic questions. So what originally got you involved with Urban Adventure Club?
So what got me into the Urban Adventure Club was at the time I was living in San Francisco. I was a transplant from the East Bay, and I was checking out a lot of meetup events. And what I found that was pretty consistent with the Urban Adventure Club at the time is you had events almost every single day. And there was consistent with the host and the organizers. So the person that was hosting, let's say, an event for the happy hours or the the dueling pianos event would be the same person hosting another event a couple of weeks later. So it was a lot easier to build rapport and friendship with like the people that were attending.
Mm. Who are some of the people you remember from back then?
I remember Tan.
Dan?
I remember because he hosted quite a
Yeah,
few
a lot of
events
happy
back
hours.
then. A lot of happy hours. I do remember Lucy. She
Yeah,
did the
yeah.
events where you were making salads in a jar.
Oh yeah,
I don't
salad jar
remember the
parties.
name of those.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's right. And but those were like the two people that stood out.
yeah.
But
Okay.
I do remember those. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we've come a long way since then.
yeah.
A lot more members, a lot more events. So what are you doing now in terms of events?
So right now, because of COVID, I'm doing a lot of the happy hours, but a lot of the happy hours that I'm hosting are outdoors. So places like Dolores Park, most recently Alamo Square. But we look for places with a lot of space for social distancing, such as Pier 23, which is outdoors right there on the Embarcadero.
Mm,
So we've had to change sort of the intimacy of some of the bars and restaurants that we used to go to something a lot more different and conducive to like what we're living at the moment.
yeah, I like the places you picked. I think Pier 23 is amazing view of the bay, Alcatraz, and then you have Spark Social, also really nice
Yes, that's right.
space. So what do you enjoy most about hosting these kind of events?
What I enjoy most about the events is just meeting new people and just building relationships. I've made a lot of good friends over the years, just going to events and hosting. I found that's been a lot more worthwhile because they're not the kind of friends that I would have normally in my social environment, in my social circles, because I don't have anything in relation to work, religion, or the area. So
Hmm.
that's like the great thing about the club is you get to meet everybody from different walks of life and different parts of the Bay.
Yeah, I agree. I've met so many really good friends. I think most of my close friends in San Francisco right now I've met through the club,
Yes,
including Alicia, my wife. So
yes, absolutely, yeah.
yeah, I think it's done pretty well for both of us. So what are some events you have coming up?
So hopefully we hope to explore some events over here in the East Bay where it's going to be a little bit warmer and there's a lot more space that we can lay out and check out. I'm really excited about, the weather warming up or a little bit being a little bit more sunny so that we can go to a lot more places that we have never visited before. A couple of the places that I'm thinking of, I can't really divulge right now, but I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I've got to keep some of those secret plans. Yeah, I'm excited too. I think East Bay is a great area to explore. We've done a lot of San Francisco, and we haven't even really started, scratching the surface of East Bay.
Yeah, that's right.
With Oakland and Berkeley, and those are personally areas I really want to get to know better.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Okay, so maybe digging a little bit through the past. What are some of your past favorite events?
So some of the past
Been in
favorite
or hosted?
events that we've done together is I really enjoy some of the high culture events that we did, such as the ballet. and I think we did one or two for the opera. So that's just exciting to get introduced to stuff like that. But other fun things that were out of the ordinary were paintball. I know we made a few trips up to Petaluma and
Hmm.
stopping by Lagunitas afterwards, as well as the bounce house. What was it? The bounce
Oh,
house
House of Beer.
dodgeball.
House of
Yes, those
Campaign
have always
Dodgeball.
been pretty fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not
but
open anymore.
unfortunately, yeah, that's we're not going to be able to do that anytime soon.
Not yet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually going to
Yeah,
some of those more active events, and I especially wish that the symphony and the ballet would be back at some point.
yeah, yeah. Those are fun. We did quite a few of those last year when we were able to get tickets, free tickets for the
I know.
ballet and the symphony. So those are great.
That's a great thing about San Francisco, just how accessible things can be. Even things like ballet, right? You can get cheap or free tickets sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. And doing that with the club, it gives us the ability to like check something out new for the first time, not with ourselves, but with other people as well.
Right, because often your friends may not be interested in doing what you want to do, and so this way you can connect with people who have the
Yes,
same interests. Yeah, I found that was a big reason for me starting the club because I
absolutely.
have so many different interests that I can't expect my friends to go with me to all these things. So I needed to find different people to do these activities with.
Yeah.
So what
And that's
else
what
should
I've
our
found as well, is a lot
uh,
of people.
what else should our members know about you?
Go ahead, Andy. I'm sorry. So what they should know is I do have a lot of varied interest. Just recently, about a year ago, I discovered this, actually maybe 2 years ago, I discovered this country bar in the
Okay,
marina, and I've introduced a few people to country line dating, including yourself and Alicia, and
yes,
you had a great time.
it was a great
So
time.
it's just finding these little gems that the city has to offer and realizing I'm like, hey, I like that. I think I would enjoy doing something like that. So that's the great thing about the club, is being able to find those different interests or doing something we've never done before, and just having people that you can make friends with later on that are going to share those same interests.
Yeah, cool. That's been great. I think that's all really valuable information for members who potentially want to go to one of your events.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
to wrap things up, what would you say to someone who's thinking about joining the club, or someone who's just finding out about it?
I think it does take a lot of courage to go out there to walk into a room with complete strangers, and doing it in a city that's pretty overwhelming. There's so many things you can do in San Francisco and the Bay Area in general, but the first act is just going out there and doing it, and it makes things a lot more pleasurable when you can find people that share the same interest. They may not work in the same building or be in the same industry or work in this or be in the, or live in the same neighborhood, but you're going to find those people in our club, because those everybody had to start out the same way of just walking into a crowded room, or not a crowded room, but walking into an event and realizing I don't know anybody here. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but just to do that. So I encourage people to try the events, anything that interests you. From, I think you were doing skydiving, and I think you have like picnics in the park. And I think this weekend we were doing a surfing class out in Pacifica. So try those
Right
events.
now, they're surfing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a great message, and I completely agree with you. I think people have this anxiety, especially when it comes to meeting new people, joining a new group. And I think the most important thing for people to realize is you're not alone, right?
Yeah.
Everyone feels the same when they are joining a new community. And so I think maybe that would help some people, just knowing that you're not the only person feeling awkward, maybe um, feeling like everyone else knows each other. But
Yes.
also, the goal that we set for this club is to make sure that we are welcoming to everyone. And it doesn't matter if it's your first event or your 10th event, we'll treat you the same, we'll welcome you, and try to make you feel welcome.
Oh, absolutely. And by the 10th event, hopefully you would have made some like good relationships and, built some trust with other people that you can do those things together.
Exactly. Well, thank you, John, for your time and answering my
You're
questions.
welcome.
Cool. So I'll see you at the next
Okay.
event.